Do you have more slices than you or your users can handle? Then you don't have to worry anymore, because from the March 23 Power BI release, we have the Clear All Slices button, which lets you clear all of the slices on a report page with just one click. And we have the Apply All Slices button, which lets you first make the selection from multiple slices, and only after that, apply all of them also with just one click. And that can significantly improve the user experience. So let's go over all of the details, how to nicely integrate it in a SLICER panel, and then some tips and tricks that take it to the next level. Let's get started. Welcome to How to Power BI. My name is Bas, and if this is the very first time for you visiting this channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all of my videos in which I share everything I know about Power BI. Now, let's have a look at the new SLICER buttons, Clear All Slices, Apply All Slices. And for that, we're going to build further on an example that I created in this video over here. Now, there I showed you how you can, deal with many slices on a report page. For example, to create bookmarks that then let you toggle between one category of slices and another category of slices, right? So in this way, you save a little bit of space. And if you have a lot of slices on a report page, it is very helpful to also have over here, somewhere on the report page, an overview of all the filters that have been applied. And another very helpful functionality is that you can clear all of the slices with one click, because you don't want to go to every single slicer, click on clear, click on clear. No, instead of that, you want to have one button that you can click on, and that one then clears all of the slices. Now, to create that functionality was possible before, but you had to do it with quite many steps. Let me show you. The first step was to go to Insert, and then here Buttons, and then from here choose a blank button. Now that is how I created that button over there. Change the formatting a little bit, and after that we have to add a bookmark action that, resets all of the slices. Now, to do that, you need, first of all, here under View, to open the Bookmarks panel and the Selection panel. Now, you see I have everything nicely organized. We have the product slices over there, and we have the location slices over there. Okay, now then you have to add a bookmark, double click on it, say that is this one is Reset Slices. Then you can click there on the three dots and then say that you only want to have the data state captured. So the display state and the current page state, those are not selected. Then you can also say that you only want to have the selected visuals, right? So these are my final settings for that bookmark. And after you adjusted all of the settings, you have to check, okay, are all of my slices cleared? Well, this one is not yet. And over here for the location slicers, let me open that one up. We have everything cleared. All right, then you can select all of the slices or the slicer groups. Okay, so I take over here the product slices, the location slices group, and over here we can then update that bookmark. Okay, so that means when somebody now makes a selection and we would run that bookmark, it resets all of the slices. Okay, good. Now that bookmark you can then link to that button. So let me select that button, go to Action, Bookmark, and we have there Reset Slices. Okay, so, that works. However, takes quite a bit of effort. You see all of those steps you need to do, and then you also need to maintain that bookmark, right? So that's not ideal. And now let me show you the new alternative. So I'm going to get rid of that button. Let me just delete it. Now you just have to do the following steps. You go to Insert, and then we can go over here to Buttons, and we have Clear All Slices button. Okay, and then we just shift it over here to the right. Maybe you want to change the formatting a little bit. So here under Style, we go to Fill, maybe add a little bit of fill color. Maybe you also want to adjust the shape. So over here, we can maybe go for a pill. All right. And now that button also clears all of the slices. Now, let's see this in action. I'm going to make a selection from the slices. Over here, we see the applied filters. Hold my control key, click on Clear All Slices, boom, without having to create any bookmarks. Much easier. Now, one important thing to note here is that it clears all of the visible slices. And in my example, we have also invisible slices, right? We have here the product group slices, these four, and I can then switch to the location slices, which makes the location slices visible, but the product slices invisible, right? So if I have over here, let's say a country selected, let's say the Netherlands, then I go to my product slices, make here also a selection. So maybe I want to have only desktops, that subcategory. I click there on clear all slices and it only cleared the visible slices. Now this might also be a good thing that it clears only the slices that are visible. However, you probably then also want to make that clear with the text, right? So if you go here to the formatting options for that button, you go to style, then over here you see we have text, clear all slices, which you can also adjust, or you can use the conditional formatting to make it even more dynamic to see what the text gets displayed exactly when. Now here, let's keep it simple. I'm just going to say clear slices. All right. And well, that's it. We have our clear slices button. So that was the very first new button that was added for slices. But there's a second one as well, which is the apply all slices button. Now, let's see how to add it, what it exactly does, and why you would want to use it. Okay, now we go again here to insert, and then we go to buttons, and here we have the apply all slices button. Okay, now let's drag it over here at the bottom of my slicer panel. Let's take my slicer groups, make them a little bit smaller. So here in the formatting properties, I'm gonna put the height to, let's say 250. And then I take my new slicer button, make it a little bit smaller. And then also here, the shape, let's be consistent. Let's also here go for a pill. Now at the moment, the button is in the disabled state. However, as soon as we make a selection, for example, class, deluxe, now, something changed. In the header, we have a little clock icon, which means that slicer has not been applied just yet. And you can see that also here in the filter section, right? No filter on class has been applied just yet. And if we go here to subcategories and we make a selection there, you see the same thing happens. And only after I made all of the selections, I can click on apply all slices, boom, and only now it applies all of the slices. So first you make your selection and then at the end, once you have all of the selections done, only then you click on apply slices. So instead of having many queries run with every slicer selection that you make, you minimize the number of queries to first make the slicer selections and then only at the end, well, run the necessary queries, the queries that are really necessary and not, well, the in-between results that you probably are not interested in at that moment. And that really improves the user experience. Now also here with the apply all slices button, you have to be aware that when you make your slices invisible or visible, your selection disappears. So let me show you. If I switch over here to, let's say, economy, now you see selection has been made, not been applied just yet. I go here to location and back again. Well, it gets undone. All right. So that is something to be aware about. Of course, it would be very nice if we got a little bit more control there, that we could say we can also clear the invisible slices if we want to, or apply all of the invisible slices, or maybe even specifically say which slices. Now, who knows, maybe they still add this to the formatting options. Now, you know this feeling when you sometimes look back at something that you created months or years ago, and you're not completely happy, or you think, oh, I can do a much better job now. I got the same feeling over here. Let's make this look a little bit cleaner. For example, we could just go for a white background for these two slicer panels and make the edges a little bit less rounded. For me, I think this is a little bit too much. So let's make these changes quickly. Then you see with just a few tweaks like a white background, less rounding of the corners, it gives you a totally different impression. And I think maybe it looks a little bit more modern. Okay, now let's go with this design. We still have the two buttons, clear all slices, apply all slices. Okay, now over here, apply all slices is currently in the disabled state, right? Only when I make a selection, so over here, deluxe, you see it goes into the default state, right? However, when it's disabled, you might not want to show it at all, right? So over here, we can go to that slicer and let me first go to the disabled state. All right, take the slicer again. Then we go to style, disabled. Then here for the text, we can say we want to have it in the same color as the background color, so font to white, all right? And then here for the fill color, we can also choose white, the same color as the background color. So it's still there, however, the user doesn't really see it, right? So only when somebody makes a different selection, it pops up. And you might now think, oh, that's nice. Let's do the same thing for the clear all slices button, right? So first we select the slicer, then you have to think, okay, what is the disabled state for clear all slicers? Well, that means, well, when there's nothing to be cleared, right? When there's no slicer to be cleared, then that should be the disabled state, right? So if I go here to Style, Disabled, and then here, now go to Fill, choose my fill color, I go for bright red, and nothing happened, all right? So here it's a bit weird. There's no disabled state, or I don't know, maybe I'm overlooking something, but I didn't get it to work. Now over here, let's go for a different text. Let's just say here we want to have reset, and then over here for that other button, we can say apply. And nothing changes. Oh, that's because I'm still in the disabled state, which actually might be nice, because in the disabled state, you might want to say, okay, first select filters, something like this. And then for the default state, there you want to just say apply. Okay, so apply. Now here we have our redesigned slicer panel with the two new slicer buttons nicely integrated. Now, however, in the documentation, there was still a very cool trick that I want to integrate here as well. And that is maybe the user wants to have the ability to switch between apply all slices at the end of the selection or instant apply. Now, to set that up is actually relatively easy. However, we need to work with the new button, apply all slices, and bookmarks. Now, the key thing here is that you need to know that when that button is hidden, then it instantly applies all of the slices. Now, let me show you. I go over here, select that new button, make sure that the selection panel is open. So over here, selection panel, open it up. There's apply slices. And if I hide this one, now it would be instantly applying all of the slices. So if I make here a different selection, you see, it instantly applies the slices. If I unhide it, and then again, change my selection, now you see, over here we have the apply slices button again. So we can just capture the two states with a bookmark and create buttons for it. Okay, so to create a bookmark, well, the bookmarks panel is already open. Now let's call this bookmark instant apply slices. Okay, that's the first one. And then we're going to have another one where we want to have the apply all at the end of the slicer selections. Okay, so we have these two slices. We have to set them up the right way. We only want to capture the display state and then only capture it for the selected visuals. We do that for both of them. Okay, so the final settings are like this. And once you have that for both of these two bookmarks, we can update them. Okay, now how? Well, first we need to go select the button. And then here for apply slices, the button, first we're going to hide it. Now that means we have instant apply, right? So let's update it. And if we unhide it, then we have apply all, right? So we need to have apply all. Okay, just like this. So when I click on instant apply, it's not visible. When I go to apply all, it becomes visible as soon as we make a selection. Okay, perfect. Good. So now we need to create two buttons, instant apply, apply all. So the way to do that is to go to insert, buttons, navigator buttons, bookmark navigator. The bookmark navigator shows buttons for all of the bookmarks. However, we only want to have these two. So let's go here and create a group. So I'm going to select both of them, 3 dots, and we group them together. Okay, now let's give it a different name. So here is my slicer state group. So now that we have the group, we can go to the formatting options for the bookmark navigator. And from here, we can then say slicer state. Okay, now if it's not visible, just hide it, unhide it. Okay, sometimes it needs to refresh. And you see, now we have our apply all and instant apply buttons. And those buttons we can resize and put them a little bit more closer to our slicer panel. And later on, I will show you how to nicely integrate them. Now let's see if it works. I see, the headers disappeared when I redesigned it. Let me just quickly fix it. Let's select all of the slicers And over here for the slicer header, let's go for a different font color. Yeah, there you go. So we make it a little bit darker. Yes. Okay, so now when we make a selection, let's say class deluxe, then the apply all button pops up because over here the apply all button is selected. Okay, if I switch to instant apply, now at the moment you see the apply button is still there, so something didn't work. I probably made a mistake when I updated the bookmark, so let's redo it. I'm going to take over here the apply slices button, then I'm going to hide it, go over here to slices state group, and then instant apply. That's the one that needs to be updated. However, you see, at the moment, apply slices, that button is not selected. So I first need to select it again, click on the three buttons, update it. A mistake that a lot of people make, including myself. All right, so over here, now it should work. Let's try again, apply all. That brings back the button when we change the selection. Then we can switch to instant apply. You see, now the button is gone and it instantly applies the slices. Now you see that works amazing. However, it doesn't look amazing, right? We have the apply all, instant apply, and it just doesn't look so good. So how we can make it look a little bit better is maybe to work not with text, but with just icons, right? It doesn't have to say apply all and instant apply. We just need to have two icons that people can relate to. All right, so let's make this a little bit smaller and replace the text with icons. Now, where can you find these unique characters? Well, just Google it, right? There are many websites where you can find it. Now, let me give you an example. I'm going to open my browser. Now, one approach would be to just first find a website with unique characters and then look there, or you already have maybe a unique character in mind. For example, here for instant apply, we could do lightning, right? Search for it, and then I just try out a few websites. Now, over here, I can already see that I like this unique character, and I just copy it over and then use that for instant apply. Instead of saying there instant apply, I have this little lightning bolt. Then I do the same for the other one. Now, over here, let's stay on this website. Let's say we want to see a clock. And then over here, search for an icon that you like. And I don't see one that I find very clear. So maybe an hourglass. Okay, so hourglass. Okay, that looks maybe a bit cleaner. This is the one that I like. Copy it. Control C, go back. And here for apply all, we do the same thing. Now to make the icons a little bit bigger, you just select the navigator, style, and this is just text. So we can put the text up to, let's say, 16. And then just decrease the size and then put it over here in the corner of our slicer panel, just here. Okay, now the one that is selected, I want to have a little bit more visible, however, not that dark black background. I think it's a little bit too much. That draws a little bit too much attention. So what we're doing next is we say, okay, when it's selected, I want the text to be just black. All right, so black is all right. And then the background, we want to have white. However, we're going to put a border around it when it's selected. And when it's not selected, so the default state, there I want the border to be white. Okay. And in the default state, the text maybe just gray, so that we can see it's grayed out a little bit. Okay. And then here for the selected state, let me just check the border. Should be black. All right, now that looks a little bit cleaner. And you see we can toggle back and forth. All right, so when we are in the hourglass and we make a selection, the apply button shows up. And we just have to also redesign that one a little bit. I see, now it disappears. Okay, so now we have these two buttons also nicely integrated, but you might think, what's the point? Why do I need this apply all button? Well, let me show you. And the best way to show you is maybe to just hide over here these two panels and then go to optimize. And then over here we have the performance analyzer. And apply all slices button is for a reason that it's there, because it can improve the performance. Now with the performance analyzer, we can analyze the performance and we can see how long it takes for different visualizations to load. All right, so for that, we need some visualizations next to it. So let me copy over some visuals. Now you see we have here now two visuals and we can start analyzing the performance. Let's first see the performance for the instant state and then click here on start recording and we can then start making some changes. And you see when we change the slicer, we have all of these different visuals that get updated, all right? And then I go to the next one, do the same thing, and you see, again, all of these different shapes, objects, and visuals get updated, all right, get loaded. Now you see that for every single selection in the slicer, a lot of visual queries run. And that might be totally unnecessary, right? And here it's relatively quick, but sometimes, well, to load all of these visuals might take much longer and really impact the user experience. So that's why you have that other option now, apply all slicer state, right? And if we then make a change, let me first clear here the performance analyzer, and then we make a change over here, then you see not much happening, right? So over here I change the color as well, and you see that looks, well, like much less. So you first make the selection, and then only at the end, boom, it runs the visual queries. So you reduce the number of queries this way. Now, which one is better? Depends on your situation, right? However, now with this setup, users have the option. Now, as you can see, I'm very excited about these two new slicer buttons because they can make the user experience of filtering the visualizations on a report page much better. Now, I hope that the Power BI development team keeps on going in this direction and then maybe also add more formatting options for slicers. The default option would be nice, but who knows, that might come up in the next updates of Power BI. Now, let's keep our fingers crossed. If you have any questions, just post them in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos like this one, then check out these two over here. Thank you and see you next time.